When the Qing dynasty or the Manchurians took over China in the 17th century, they hoped to stop Han immigrants coming here to Manchuria. Now, of course, in past dynasties, Han-controlled dynasties, they built the Great Wall to keep out Manchurians and Mongols, but apparently that wasn't effective enough in stopping immigration coming the other way. So they set about building a great ditch very soon after they took Beijing, and within a couple decades, they built two sections of the ditch which completely surrounded the Liaodong Peninsula. They also built another section of the wall spanning very far north to prevent Mongols from coming in as well. But I said it was a ditch, that's sort of underestimating it a little bit, because they in fact built two levees either side, both around a metre high, and on top of these levees they planted willow trees, rows and rows of willow trees, and they tied all the branches together. Of course there were gates to allow some people to pass through, but these were guarded at all times. So initially the only Han people who were allowed to settle here in Manchuria were soldiers, but in the 18th century, after famine and drought hit China, they allowed around 500,000 Han settlers to come here to Manchuria. But as the Qing dynasty declined, the Willow Palisade, as it was called, fell into disrepair, and by that point it was only really effective in catching a few smugglers. So to make a little bit of money, the Qing dynasty decided to sell off land to Han settlers, and this started a period, I should say it was around the mid-19th century, and this started off a period known as the Tuan Guangdong. Now of course Guangdong is a southern province, but don't get confused, it was just an old name for Manchuria, and Tuan Guangdong literally means the crushing into Guangdong, because millions, maybe, no one's really sure how many, of Han settlers started arriving here in Manchuria. Well, I should say that there was another reason why they started allowing Han settlers to come here to Manchuria, is because particularly in the north the region was very depopulated, and the Russians took advantage of this and started expanding into China. So they hoped by populating these regions they could stop Russian expansion that way. But anyway, there were so many immigrants that came here to Manchuria that the majority of people now are Han. There's in fact very few people who are, let's say, native Manchurian. And if you're interested, I'm on the Yalu River. There it is. And this is the bridge going into North Korea. And there's North Korea over there. So this river kept out a lot of Korean immigrants. But one thing I want to show you, well, first of all, I'm on the bridge that was bombed by the Americans. They just kept it up as a souvenir, I suppose. But there's North Korea over there, flat as a pancake, spin round, China, all its skyscrapers. Oh yeah, and there's a hell of a lot of trucks going into North Korea. So stuff is getting there. There you see around 4 of them, and they always come in batches.